All right, so this is way better. I've got a better setup. If you watched the last video, we're in the office and we didn't have any microphones. What's up, Mike?
Good morning.
It wasn't with Mike. It was with someone else. It was with Austin, the last one. But we were testing out. I got a new camera now set up, but it's just a webcam. Still having issues with my Canon, but it's coming along. Mike's in you're in your new spot, new house, huh?
Yep. New house. Kind of halfway making a studio out of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're jamming. Today we got a little bit of a rainy day. Work's called off. This is perfect timing to jump on a call with you, Mike. Mike's a fellow realtor here in SLO County and also the owner of the best place in Atascadero. Arguably the best place in Atascadero, but definitely the best gym in Atascadero. Best gym on the Central Coast. You agree? Yeah.
I agree.
So Atascadero CrossFit is probably my home away from home. I think if I'm not working out at my shop, my wife knows I'm probably at Mike's gym. Would you agree? Kind of make myself at home.
You are there a lot and you do make yourself at home, but everybody's used to that by now. It's not a problem anymore.
Was there a problem? Place for my shoes, just strewn my bag everywhere. I try to be mindful, but I can be selfish sometimes.
Yeah, like when you throw your thumb tape in the recycle bin.
Yeah, I've got wise to that. But it doesn't help when one of your coaches, Michael, makes us coffee for the 4:30 a.m. class. It makes us feel right at home. It just makes us want to stick around and linger at the water cooler. So we joined, I think we joined Headstrong that was there before you, but you had the gym, you had CrossFit Ergo in Paso. Since what year did you become partner in that?
That was 2019. Mm-hmm. We took that over from another guy. He wanted to retire from the gym business. Mm-hmm. And I was a member there for a long time and kind of helped run his computer systems because he had, trouble working his mouse and turning the darn thing on. So I kind of helped him manage, setting up the billing and things like that. Yeah. So it's like taking over the gym wasn't like a complete, like, oh my God, what do I do? So right. And it was just one of those things like, hey, let's, it seemed like a fascinating business to me. I was always interested in it, always trying to peek behind the curtain. And just the way it went down, the coaches they were worried that all the gear and equipment and the door would be locked one day. Like they'd show up and there'd be no email, no nothing. Mm-hmm. Cause things weren't going very well. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how to describe it. There was a feeling in the air.
Yeah. Pending doom.
Yeah. So they encouraged me. It's like, hey, you've been talking about this for years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now's the time. So they kind of twisted my arm a little bit. They didn't have to twist it too hard. Mm-hmm. And then had a really good conversation with one of the other members, Stephen Herring. And he said, yeah, let's go. I want to help. I want to be part of it. So we partnered up on it and it went well until the pandemic hit, a few months later.
Just a few months later. The gym business is always like, to me more recently, but I never thought of it in the past, but it's definitely one of those things where if you do it incorrectly and you run it inefficiently and you don't have a very clean, welcoming space to go in a very awesome community, it could be a struggle bus, I imagine, in terms of turning a profit.
Yeah, and at that point, it wasn't about, immediately like, oh, we got to make money. Mm-hmm. It was like, hey, let's see what this thing can do. And there was a couple of other friends that I had in the CrossFit space, and he said, just, you don't know what you're getting into. It's mm-hmm. going to be great. Mm-hmm. It's going to be 10 times more work than you think. Mm-hmm. It's going to be harder than you think, but it will also be fun and fulfilling. And he was right on all accounts.
What was the hardest thing about it? Well, what was the steepest learning curve? Because, you're a hustler, you're an entrepreneur, you're a realtor, so you know how to put the grind when you need to, right? But it wasn't that?
No, it was trying to change people's habits because things were ran a certain way. The staff was used to operating in a certain way. And it was not in a most systemized and professional way. And then, getting the members to like actually have to behave in a certain way. Not like, please don't take your pants off in class kind of thing, but like, hey, we want you to reserve a spot in class. Here's what our programming is going to be like, a little bit more
check
formal.
in.
Yeah, a little bit more formal and structured. And that was the biggest problem. And until we opened up Atascadero CrossFit, I didn't know how much of a problem it really was until we didn't have those problems. Because we adopted it and we were trying to like fix a sinking ship that was, going one direction, and large ships don't turn very fast.
No.
The guy in Baltimore. Yeah.
Too soon? I don't know.
And then at ACF, we started that thing from scratch.
Yeah.
We had 12 members. It was me and one other coach. There was a lot of one-person classes, and we got to create it from scratch. Now, 2 different kinds of stresses, for sure.
Yeah.
The stress of like, hey, we have all these problems. How do we fix them? But we have some amount of income coming in, versus like, you have 0 income. You're going to lose money for the first little bit.
Right.
But you get to do it the right way. Yeah. And I think to do it all over again, I would start from scratch every single time. I'd be real hesitant to purchase an already existing gym.
Well, you're also, it comes with like in my world too, changing culture. Even when you go through phases of difference, like, even with our painting company, we're going through phases of this is how we operate. Seth is owner operator. Seth does the sales. Seth manages the crews. Seth is more lenient than someone else would be. He's, when you wear a bunch of hats, it's hard to be like completely 100% of each role. But as you grow too, your staff, like in my experience, my staff, has gone through revolutions of like, maybe a few of you don't fit anymore. They don't fit into like the new culture. And as the culture changes and gets more streamlined and more like, I guess you'd say like nurturing, like an actual nurturing vitality and growth. Some people, it doesn't work. And it's not to say that everybody should fit into one mold, but it's progress is not always the same goal for everybody involved in the ship, but I definitely, one thing that resonates with me with like your gym with ACF, as a member, is that when I first came to check it out, I know it was new. So that's one thing that's like, oh, it was brand new. And so it was clean, but 2 years since you opened the ACF, reopened it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, we just.
The gym is still like clean and tidy, and like the equipment's all taken care of. So like it's the testament to like, a lot of people like that. But for me, it was definitely, I'm sort of type A, but I'm not, my wife would be a little bit more of a neat freak than I am, but I really appreciate like clean, tidy, organized workspace. And, I like the nicer things. I wouldn't say I like fancy things, but I just like when things are in nice shape. And so I think that you do a really good job with that. I've been to a lot of affiliates around like the country when I travel, like for fun or for work. And ACF is like you got a diamond of a gym. And then
that's what people say.
Yeah.
They tell me that, but I'm like, oh, that is really dirty over there, and I really don't feel like that corner is maximized properly. Like I'm always trying to make the space flow better.
Yeah.
And it seems filthy to me.
Yeah.
But I could have someone there 40 hours a week cleaning. But that's just how my brain operates.
Yeah. You don't like chalk.
There's also the you got to find the middle ground of like, cool, it'd be fun to have all these neat little toys, really nice equipment. But then you have to go, well, does this help the gym as a business?
Right.
And a lot of the times the answer to that question is no.
Yeah.
Like the machine that you've been using regularly lately, the skier, that really has no place in a group class for the most part.
Right.
It was a toy that, Coach Cheyenne found on Facebook. And I wanted it and I bought it, and, it doesn't get a lot of use. But in your case, with your situation, you're using it a lot, and it's allowed you to stay in the gym without having to run or
right.
You know.
I think that it's like one of those things too. It's like it'd be nice to have a biker in my in my shop or like, but then you're like, well, no, it's a waste of space and money. It's like I just get like a rower's fine or like or Echo Bike's fine. But like in your group classes too, ACF uses. For those of you listening, ACF uses the level method, which is like super. I think this is a great pivot. Is a super awesome tool, and what's probably the biggest thing that drew me to it when I first came and I signed up for your 12 assessments or whatever it is, 10 or 12 assessments where you're doing I think it was like six kickstart like one-on-ones to get it evaluated. The level method was very cool because I never really understood exactly where I should scale. You get some guidance from other gym coaches, other affiliate coaches or other gym coaches where they say, oh, maybe if the RX is this, then you should do like half the weight. And I was like, well, I could probably do 3/4 of the weight if I had but level method is like, okay, here's the workout. RX is black or I don't know if red or black or whatever. And then you have 6 variations and it's laid out for you. And so you assess at like, what's my weightlifting assessment? What's my kettlebell assessment? What's my flexibility assessment? And so I came knowing right away that maybe I was strong enough to do like purple or brown, but I was doing blue and purple for the first month or something just to like kind of feel it out. And then you kind of see like, oh, I can do brown every once in a while. And the more you progress, it's smart. Like I've never, besides my shin splint right now that I'm dealing with for 3 months, like I haven't, it's easier not to get injured because you know exactly what you're supposed to do. And, the coaches that you have, they're very educated in like trying to get people to ease into, like I hear Brooks all the time, like, you're not doing purple, even though you know how to do all these movements, you're not good at them, but in a softer way. But like you need to do blue, and then you can show me if you can actually do each rep full. Then I'll let you do purple next time, because you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there for people who have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
okay, let me recap. It's taking a workout that's like complicated, and if you've never done CrossFit before, and you're like, what the hell are they doing? And saying, don't worry, here's 6 options so you don't get hurt and you ease your way into it. That's just what I'm talking about.
What I tell people is like, consider this like jiu-jitsu belts for fitness. So that workout's going to meet you wherever you're at. It's never going to be too easy, but it's also never going to be too hard. Mm-hmm. And we have the simplicity in the system where you've been assigned a color based upon your abilities.
Right.
And you can just show up and like, cool, I'm blue, I'm orange, I'm purple, whatever that may be. Or when we have, I call them nerds, CrossFit nerds. Like you're a nerd.
Yeah.
You like that level of detail. And then you can be a little bit more mindful on the different areas that you're good or maybe weak at. And you could do like what I call like a dirty purple, like a brown and a purple together.
Yeah.
I do that all the time because I have, some major things that I'm really horrible at. I'm the worst in the gym at. And then there's some things that I'm really good at. So I'll mix and match colors all the time. But most people, 90% of the people just come in and it's simple. Very, very simple. Yeah. And that's how we can have like Lillian, who's amazing, 74 years old, and Dustin. Dustin's easily our fittest member. He's a firefighter. Like he's been doing this a long time, and everywhere in between in the same class.
Yeah,
it's pretty remarkable how well it scales for such a wide variety of athletes.
Well, yeah, and you also, if you don't know what CrossFit is too, is like sometimes it's long workouts, sometimes it's short workouts, depending on the stimulus of the workout. And no matter what, if you have these scaled, how scaled you are, typically everyone finishes the workout within the same realm of time domain. So it could be someone finishes at 8 minutes, then maybe someone finishes at 11 or 12 minutes, but there's not usually this huge disparaging like. So if you scale it correctly, you should all be kind of in the same realm of time. So it's nice. Yeah.
They're getting the stimulus of that workout.
Yeah.
If it takes you 15 minutes to do Fran, you didn't do Fran. You didn't get the stimulus.
Yeah, but I tried hard. Yeah, sometimes you find it, you're like, I can lift this, and so I'll do black. And then you're like 4 minutes after everyone's done, you're like, I should just stop now because I should have done purple. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just an ego check, But I wanted to also, because it is like more than it's one of my favorite places to go. It is 100% like a magnet. Like every class, like so I go to the 4:30 o'clock in the morning class, like 4:30 a.m., which is beyond bonkers to some people when I tell them I leave my house at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. But there's a wait list every day. And then when it's not spring break, you have a wait list at 5:30 a.m. And then you sometimes have a wait list at 8:30 in the morning, later in the morning after everyone's at work, or everyone who has a 7 o'clock job. Anyway, when I'm at work. And then you have like a 4, 5, and 6 o'clock class at night, and often 4 o'clock's got a wait list. So there's a lot of, like, you have attracted a lot of members, your coaches, the community, everybody is very attracted to this place. And I think it has a lot to do with your attention to detail with the gym, just from an outsider's perspective. Your attention to detail with the gym, a fantastic program with the level method, coaches that really have bought into the level method, and coaches that are very involved with the community as well. It's very often that your coaches will hang out for 15 minutes after the class and chit chat with whoever's there, engage online. I've been to a lot of gyms where it's like, it feels like even I'm dropping in and they could care less what my name is. It's just like, oh, go over there. You can put your stuff over there. And like no chit chat. Like it sounds cliche, but the community is huge. And I'm wondering if you think that just by accident, or do you intentionally think that you personally have everything to do with it,
No, I think that there's a number of reasons that is, and I don't think it's unintentional. Right. I think it's a matter of fact that one, like what you didn't mention, is the coaches take the classes. Like the coaches aren't too good for what the members are doing. So I'm in your class, Brooks is in that 4 o'clock class. Uh-huh. You'll see all the coaches taking the classes with the members. And I think that's a big deal, even though, like Brooks and Coach Jana are ridiculously fit. They're still, jumping in with the rest of us. And I think it's a thing of, I'm there all the time. The coaches are there all the time. And we've put intentional effort into being present, being mindful of what's going on, and just taking the time to, get to know every single person. Yep. Nobody shows up at the gym without sitting in that conference room with me.
Right.
And me figuring out where they've been, where they want to go, and why they're there in the first place.
Right.
Because there's a variety of different programs they can pick from, whether it's just fitness or nutrition or just somebody wants accountability. But we take the time to kind of go a few levels deeper. I hate to pick on them, but you show up to Planet Fitness, they take your $10 and you're done. There's not even anybody working there, I don't think.
You get a piece of pizza though, Mike. So you get a piece of pizza.
So, but then it's we've portrayed kind of the culture that we wanted to see, and that has attracted the members that will fulfill that, and they've taken it to the next level. I mean, you have some people like Rachel, mm-hmm. like everybody knows and loves Rachel. She comes in mornings, afternoons, or whatever, and she's like the girl. Like mm-hmm. she's going to talk to every single person. She's going to talk to the person from Wisconsin that's there because they're going wine tasting or whatever. Mm-hmm. She's going to hang out with them, mm-hmm. and she's not the only one. There's a ton of people. There's a ton of couples. When we were doing our little Valentine's Day social media thing, we put together a list of all the couples. And I thought, okay, we got like 5 or 6 couples. We have almost 20 couples, like husband and wife, like, and it just kind of blew my mind. It's the community is just created and it just keeps blossoming, and I don't know if it has anything to do with me, but
I think it does. You're very, you're very familial, I guess I would say. You're kind of like, you're everybody's brother. That's like what I would say, I think you and I have a relationship where we pick on each other a lot, and I kind of like that kind of banter.
It's fun.
That's how that's how I interact with men in my life that I like. we just kind of like, locker room, kind of make fun of each other, but it's fun, no hard feelings. And I think that there's a little bit of that, and there's also like really tight relationships. You see people like really, having good conversations before and after, and like you can tell that people really bond and they become really good friends in the 2 years since the gym's been there. And a lot of the members at ACF never did CrossFit before you opened the gym. A lot of them, and you go to, and so that's what makes it so like tight, is because there's no like nobody's bringing in a lot of like preconceived ideas of what it should be like and who should do this and why it should be like this. Everyone kind of has like this bond, this like cohesiveness, like we've all been kind of like, here, and this is our spot, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this story, but recently one of our members, and you know her, I'm not going to use her name, but she was hit with some circumstances in life, and she's just taking care of some people in her family that she normally wouldn't have to, and it just, never got better, and she kept doing the right thing, and it came down to it, she could no longer afford to come to the gym.
Oh yeah.
And the second this got out, it got to a couple of members, and within it couldn't have been more than 48 hours, everybody had pitched in and purchased a 1-year paid in full membership for this lady. Just because they couldn't imagine coming and being part of the gym without her.
That's awesome.
And it was just really cool. And she had no idea. And what's funny is she saw the post in the Slack channel and donated it to herself. Like, she knew she had to cancel, yet she was going to pitch in money. It just tells you who she was.
Yeah.
She's going to pitch in money for someone else, and it turned out to be hers. It was telling her was a moment I'll never soon forget. She's a lady. Yeah.
That's kinda awesome.
Looks like you know who I'm talking about, but
I don't actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I 100% don't know who you're talking about, but I remember seeing that post for sure. But that's just a big testament. I want to hear a little bit about for lack of a better word, the elephant in the room, the weight loss. It's kind of like apropos way of describing it. But people's weight loss is incredible. We know a guy that joined and he was there for 6 weeks and he lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks, right?
We have a lot of those.
A lot of those. But I mean, just in specific person that sticks out in my mind, and it was like, holy cow. And so I've been there 2 years. I've been doing, CrossFit or CrossFit style workout for 3 years, but 2 years with ACF. And the amount of people that I've seen come in, do the 6 week program and like literally like change their body composition in 6 weeks is phenomenal. And I know that is definitely, it's definitely one of those things where when people come in to join, I say like, you should probably check out, if you're not doing the 6 week program, that's going to be the easiest way for you to stick with this, is if you go through that and stick with it. At the end of the 6 weeks, you're going to be addicted to getting better and like losing weight and feeling healthier. Was that something that you did at Ergo, or is that something when did that kind of program come about?
We started it and built it at both gyms. But it didn't, I'm not going to say perfected it, but we've been turning the screws on it ever since. So
right.
It's coming up on almost 2 years old. I'd have to look at, the in-body scan data to see how many total pounds we've lost. The king is Steve. You know Steve very well. He's a 430 AMer. Yeah. He lost 34 pounds, which is a lot, but he's over 90 pounds smaller than when he started. But it is not untypical for a man to lose 16 to 20 pounds in the program. And it's done right. We, obviously we're doing fitness because it's CrossFit, but there's a lot of nutrition coaching. And the big part is the accountability. Yeah. They're not on their own. They have a partner in this. Coach Tracy's been running it for 3 months now.
Yeah.
And she's just in their corner. If they fall off the meal plan one day, she's right there to pick them back up. And they know she's watching, she's paying attention. And we're like little kids, you know, when your dad's looking, you're not going to stick stuff where it doesn't belong, you know, mainly Doritos in your mouth or whatever. So it's been a really good program. It's not for everybody, but just the way we have it structured, I'm going to say 98% of people have gone through it.
Who's it not for?
Someone who already has their nutrition kind of dialed in, someone who's probably been doing CrossFit for a long time, and they, you know, maybe just moved to the area, and they're already, you know, feel like their body composition is good, their habits are really good. Are
you guys dogmatic in
the
the diet approach? I mean, is it like you have to eat this way, like paleo, you have to eat no carb, you have to eat low fat, you have to eat high protein?
No, it's really not that complicated. We have found over the last year or so, the more simple we've made the program, the more results we got. Because as you know, as nerds, we're like, cool, we should do this and this will work, and they can do this and this and this. But the more pieces we had in it, the less results we got. So the more we took out, the better results, because it's really in the simplicity of the program and the consistency. Most people don't need full macros or meal timing or whatever. They need to stop drinking soda and move their body.
Yes.
You know, and make sure they're getting enough protein and eat some veggies every once in a while. Not count every little bite that they eat.
Right. You know, we go like, the way I do it is like, you know, your thumb, you can't see my camera, like this much fat, you know, so that much nut butter is a good snack, you know, half an avocado, you know, if your meat fits like the size of a regular iPhone, that's how much protein is, like 40. It's like the not having to count your calories, not having to count your I mean, I'm doing it for different reasons. I'm trying to put on mass. I'm not trying to lose anything. So I'm going the other way, trying to like figure out how to optimize that direction. And it's just the little cues, like how big's your phone? Okay, your chicken breast is that big. It's probably 30 to 40 grams of protein. You know, so your plate should look like this, like shapes on the plate, right? I think that's like a common way to say your veggies should be this big, your protein should be this big, just like eyeball it.
Yeah, and just the program is really, really simple. And you have an accountability coach walking you through everything. And then you show up to class. You know, they commit to coming to at least 3 classes a week. And by the second month, you know, when they're in week 5 or 6, we can't keep them away.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are, you know, they're struggling with just getting started. And they say, I'm just not motivated. And I tell them, I was like, well, Tony Robbins is lying to you. You don't just wake up motivated. It's the success that breeds that motivation.
Right.
So lean on us. We'll get the first 5 pounds off of you. That's what your goal is. And once you see that it's possible and what you're doing is working, the next 5, that's on you, because that's when you get turbocharged. Success is what breeds that motivation. And I've loved that mindset.
Well, you have that, like in sales, we have this thing where I talk to my people and myself, I do this as well, is like when you make a sale or you land like a yes over the phone, email, or in person, then that is when you should continue your habits that got you there immediately following. So like for instance, if we're like calling and we win a job or we win a listing or whatever, it's good to immediately get off the phone and then follow up with like 5 people in a row, because people can sense your confidence is there. You can keep going. So same with like results and fitness. It's like, you're not going to say, yeah, I lost 19 pounds. Now let me just like quit my membership and not come anymore. It's like, it's almost counterintuitive to do it, because if you're successful with it, then it should light a fire that like, if you could do this in this amount of time, think about like 3 months more, think about like 6 months more. And it's really important also that, you know, a little bit of balance, like when you're starting out, right? It's not you're throwing the lions den. You should come to 6 classes a week, and you need to like change everything about everything. It's like simple changes go a lot further. I stopped eating sugar except for like 4 times, maybe 4 times since January 1st. I had some cake at my birthday. I had cake at my nephew's birthday. I had a donut randomly. But just that one thing, like no sugar and no energy drinks. I mean, you remember me coming in, I had like a bang like at 4 PM. I mean, like I drink like 3 of those a day and coffee. And so no energy drinks, no sugar. And just that one thing that you can change that doesn't change how much I'm eating. I didn't change anything about my diet in January, just no sugar. And it was crazy the amount of like sleep I'm getting better. You know, I don't feel as lethargic in the afternoon. So if somebody's going from like the complete extreme, maybe they're still eating sugar, but maybe they're not going to go to McDonald's and Taco Bell every day anymore. And then maybe 2 months later, they take away the diet soda and they still have grape juice. And then a couple weeks later, maybe they're having no grape juice, but they're still eating like, you know, it's just like you can make it incremental and you make huge impacts, and it doesn't need to be cold turkey on everything. Well, that's my 2 cents. Maybe that's not what you recommend, but some people need a little bit less, you know, ease it off.
Yeah, you're dead on. You chose one thing.
Yeah.
You didn't choose everything. And when you had that donut, you're just like, cool, I can go without the donut tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal. It was easy to get back on when you fell off.
Right. Especially because crappy
everything,
stuff makes you feel even crappier when you're not used to it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, last thing about the diet, you know, is the fact that you yourself, I mean, like you talk about the coaches doing the classes, you yourself follow this program, right? This nutrition program.
Yeah, I'm not as consistent, if I'll be honest, as, you know, but the fun part is learning what everybody else is experiencing. And then how it's not a straight line,
right?
You know what I mean? We go through seasons and things have things that in their personal life that kind of get in the way. So you got to like let off the gas a little bit. And then there are times where you can focus back on, you know, but yeah, I've done everything we ask our members to do. I've done.
Right.
Or still do.
So if someone was going to like, look forward to coming to check out the gym, obviously they could just send a message directly through the website or DM on Instagram.
Yeah, either one of those works. There's a big button on our website right in the corner that says schedule a free intro. That's where you sit down with me. We're going to go over your goals and figure out how we get you where you want to go. But that is the first step in that process. Anything on the horizon this summer at the gym besides just awesome classes and consistent? We are working on putting a weightlifting, you know, like a 1 day a week weightlifting. In the further distance, we're going to do a mobility or yoga sessions. And every summer, we started it last year with the girls varsity basketball team.
Oh, cool.
Came in and trained with us for 3 weeks. And then we're fit going into the season, which is kind of cool over the summer. Kids need something to do instead of spray painting buildings. That's what I say. So we're opening it up to all the sports for the high school athletes over the summer. So more than likely we'll have a boys session and a girls session. So whether it's, you know, football or track or basketball, they can come in there and learn how to move like athletes and get super fit into the summer, over the summer. So when they get back into class and whenever their sport starts up, especially if they're a, you know, winter sport, it's going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, you can even keep doing it. We have 3 high schoolers that come like at 5 a.m. every day. I mean, it's not just for middle-aged adults. No, probably the vast majority of members are probably in their 40s and whatnot. But there's high schoolers that are after it. One's coming at 4:30 a.m. every single day, and you know, going to school right afterwards. We got another kid that goes down to school, you know, afterwards. It's just like it's crazy. In high school, I used to go surf, and then I go to school afterwards, so I can kind of resonate with them. I go early morning and then go to school. But I mean, how many high schoolers do you know that are doing CrossFit and then going to class afterwards?
I mean, we got one D1 softball player. She got a scholarship for softball. The other girl got she's doing scholarship for for stunt, which is kind of cool, you
Yep.
know. And I wouldn't be surprised where Maddie ends up. I mean, he qualified for quarterfinals as a 17-year-old this year. So
CrossFit.
our teenagers are badass. I
They
will
are.
say that.
They're good kids too.
You know,
They're gonna have a
they
good
get
foundation.
good grades. They're good to their parents. They're going to be successful adults.
Right on. Well, like I said in the beginning, it's one of my favorite places to go. It's probably my favorite place to go that's not, work or home related. And you got a great thing going on at ACF. I look forward to seeing who joins this summer and who joins the next few months. It's just a great spot. If you want to improve your life and you want to improve your social life even, come check it out. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Seth.
Yeah, right on.